So today I want to talk about why parents don't talk about the 11 plus, the fact that their children are being tutored or that they're preparing for the 11 plus, and what all the fuss is about. Hi, my name is Joyce Akufo. I'm the Managing Director of Geek School Tutoring. The 11 plus is like a hidden secret at the school gates. Your child is seen as competition for every other parent. Most parents are happy to talk about state schools. However, because many children who apply for grammar schools do so out of borough. So for example, if you're watching this and you live in Southwark, you might be applying for a grammar school in Sutton because Southwark doesn't have any grammar schools. And so your bestie mum at the school gates, who you've been having lovely conversations with, your children have had play dates and all of that for years since nursery or reception, suddenly is very secretive. A lot of it is because it's a hidden secret. If you know, you might tell somebody else, or your child might apply for a school that they're going for, and that one child is competition. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
What?
I've experienced this myself, but obviously, you know, it's the industry that I'm working in, and having that journalistic nose for years of working in the media, you know, I know how to do my research and find things out. But many parents are just unaware of this altogether. So if you have a child in year 4, you need to start doing some research about secondary schools. It's not a good idea to wait until year 5 or even year 6, because in year 6, you've probably missed the boat for the grammar school tests anyway. And many children have spent at least a year, some 2 years, some 3 years preparing for these exams. And with all the best will in the world, having a few days just to do an exam, to prepare to do an exam, isn't really fair on your child when others have been doing it for years, you know. So find out about secondary schools at least from year 4, so that you have an idea of what your child is coming up against, if they have any exams that they need to prepare for. You find a good tutor and get things underway. Tutors are important if you don't know what level your child needs to be working at. If you're busy and it's difficult to sit down with your child and go through, I think it's a necessity to at least get an assessment, get some feedback on whether your child should be doing the 11 plus, whether they have the aptitude for doing the 11 plus, and to find out where their strengths and weaknesses are before deciding that you'll just do everything yourself, because every school has its different admissions requirements and the exams that they sit. Additionally, there are 2 topics that are not part of the national curriculum. So if your child goes to state school, it's not in the remit of their school to teach. These 2 topics are verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. So state primary schools have a remit to prepare children to sit the SATs in year 6. And so if you're depending on your child's primary school to prepare your child, you may find that there is a big gap between where they are at the time that they're about to sit the exam and where they need to be if there's been no additional preparation outside of school. And as I say, verbal and non-verbal reasoning are 2 topics that are not part of the national curriculum. So your child will not get taught how to do those because it's not in the school's remit. And so it's always a bit heartbreaking when parents have not found out about the 11+ in time, because sometimes children basically just need another 3 months, which just don't exist by the time parents find out, or they need another 6 months and there just isn't the time, which is why I highly recommend that you start this journey early. So because the 11+ is this hidden secret, please share this video. If you have friends and relatives with younger children, share the video. We need to get the word out there so that every child is given the opportunities. You know, even if the parents decide, actually, I don't want to send my child to a grammar school for one reason or the other, they can make an informed decision about whether they do that or not. But you can't make an informed decision if you don't know about the different types of schools. It's just not fair. So that's my main piece of advice. You know, please share this. Share it on your social network, share it on your WhatsApp, share it. It's not because I want to get loads of views. I could pay for advertising for that. It's because I think it's really unfair that parents are not given this information. And in my experience, based on the feedback from parents who even approach their child's teacher about the grammar school test, some teachers are not for grammar schools because it's quite a political issue, in that obviously all schools should be equal. You know, in an ideal world, regardless of the school that a child goes to, they get the same excellent level standard of education. But where in reality, and unfortunately that is not the case, there are some schools that provide a better education than others. So for example, many state schools suffer from having staff shortages in like the maths and the sciences in particular. You've probably heard this in the news about there being a shortage of maths and science teachers, you know. However, in the grammar and independent schools, it's hugely unlikely that they are going to have a term, 2 terms without a maths or a science teacher, you know. Because of the nature of the school and the environment, they are not really going to spend lots and lots of time on behavioural management, because there are children with various issues coming into the school. And so from a teaching perspective, of course, it's going to be much more pleasurable teaching children who want to learn and who are not misbehaving, you know, throwing things, or, you know, just being really difficult to manage. You would want to teach in a grammar or an independent school, wouldn't you, really? And so it's little wonder that the state schools have issues. So you can imagine the impact it can have on a child's education if they go for weeks and months without having a consistent teacher. You know, there's a supply teacher one week, a different one another week, and so on. It's very, very disruptive. So this is what I mean about giving all children the access. It shouldn't be information that only a particular type of person in the country knows about, you know. So let's share this, let's get the message out there and start your research early. You know, I always want to help. So if there are any areas where you think that a video would help, please put that in the comments so that I can help and look into it for you. I really want to help, you know, because there should be transparency. You know, parents need to know that they don't have to just stick with the secondary schools within their borough if they're not happy to send their child to those secondary schools. You shouldn't have to feel as if you've got to choose the best of the out of the worst bunch. That's wrong, you know. So I really want to help in that way. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you on the next video.